Hi everyone, Chris here with a very different bike compared to what I normally review out of China. This is called the LEMMO 1. It's the Mk2 version of it. And it is a great commuter bike that I can see so far testing it out. It's got a lot of smart features built into it for a city commute bike that a lot of people will probably want. So it's got GPS built into it. It's a removable battery pack here. It does have a 4G modem in it, so you always know where the bike is. And it has Apple's Find My service too with it. We've got a rear hub motor that's 250 watts that can get us up to 25 kilometers per hour top speed. And you can also disengage that rear hub, remove the battery and ride it just like a normal e-bike. It's got 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, and the gears on this are from Shimano. I'll be running through it in detail here to let you know exactly why I think this is one of the best city commuter style bikes that has the built-in 4G and everything for people that are after a bike like this for its price point of just over 2,200 euros. The LEMMO e-bike does come really well packaged up. As you can see, there's a lot of padding around everything, boxed up really nice, and there's a bit of assembly required. So we're going to install the front tire, the pedals, and our seat post. So there's not a lot of assembly. Inside you'll also find the smart pack, which is our battery, toolbox, and a pump. The LEMMO 1 does come with different options for the drivetrain. This model I have here, I opted to get the gears, which are from Shimano. Now we've got a 9-speed cassette here, Shimano Dior, so it is a proper well-known brand. So if you have some hills around you, then get the version with the gears. But if you ride mostly on the flat kind of areas, or you live somewhere like Holland, I would go for the belt drive version. That means you've got zero maintenance, no oiling of a chain to worry about, and those belts last for up to 30,000 kilometers. There's a powerful tail light here, which is just a single stage one, so not two-stage. When you brake, it does not get any brighter. It doesn't shimmer like I'm showing right here now. That's just to do with my camera settings, the shutter rate. It's not syncing correctly. Frame here of part of a bike rack, but you can see that the mudguard is actually higher than the bike rack itself, but you can still put an accessory bag over this for additional storage. The mudguard, this is made out of plastic there, so it won't rust or corrode, but it does have a metal inner frame to give it some strength there. The tires are 27.5 inches. They're from a brand called Innova, and I do like the fact that the sidewall has a reflector strip on it, and this is great for safety. So any cars that approach you from the side, they can see you because they do reflect quite a bit of light. The tire tread pattern is more like a mixed tread pattern here, not so much road or city to me, which you'd normally have a strip in the middle that you'd ride on that would be smoother. But so far they seem to be good, and they don't make any noise, and they offer a bit of grip too. The brakes are 160 millimeters, and there is no branding on the brakes themselves. They seem to just be a no-brand hydraulic brake, but they do work well. We get a front reflector, front headlight. Now this headlight is removable with a special tool that you just simply insert, and then this pops out, which is great, and that means you can use that as a removable torch. Our kickstand's located in the middle. It does work well, but it sometimes gets in the way of the pedals, so you do need to be careful about that. And this bike is using a torque sensor, so the power delivery is very smooth and it's instantaneous. It also cuts out as soon as you stop pedaling. This is what makes the LEMMO 1 really unique. So you've got this control here to disengage the rear hub motor, and to do so, you just simply need to pull on it, then turn it. You'll see it goes to M. That puts it into the manual mode. It's disengaged now, so you have no drag of that motor when you ride it. It rolls so much better. There's no resistance coming from that motor. So it really does feel like you're riding just a normal bike, especially when you remove that battery pack. And this is where you'll find a little actuator, a little servo motor in here that pushes in the locking mechanism for the rear hub when you lock the bike. And this is the smart pack. So it's a removable battery, 530 watt hours. Takes around about 3 hours to charge it. There are some status LEDs along the top here to let you know the remaining battery life of the pack if you may be using it as a power bank. So you can see here there's a little rubber flap that covers over where the power button is, power in for charging, a USB type A and a USB type C. Now it can charge devices up to 65 watts. Now removing it, you need to unlock it via the app first, and once you do so, it's just a simple matter of pulling on the handle here and unlatching it from the bottom. So you need to push in the little latch, pull on the handle, and it simply slides out like so. So now you can ride it just like a normal e-bike that weighs 15 kilos, and inserting that battery again is easy. You just need to simply slot it into place and clip it in. The seat isn't too bad. It is a little bit on the hard side. It doesn't have a huge amount of padding. It does have a rear reflector with the seat post. No quick release for our seat. So if you're going to be changing over riders, well, you're going to have to bring along an Allen key for this. But I do like the fact that it doesn't have quick release on the front wheel or the seat post. That means no one can just go along and steal them. This is great for a city bike that you're going to lock up and leave somewhere. LEMMO has used lock grips, which is good, and the unknown brand of brakes, well, the levers, they do feel very good, nice and firm, as you'd expect being hydraulic. And this is one feature that I really do like, and it's got a built-in mobile phone holder that you wouldn't even know it was there if you saw the bike. So it opens up like so, either side, and then you just need to pull it apart. It's a little difficult to do one-handed here. You can see it will hold a standard size phone. All the phones out there that I do own, which are, a lot of them are large phones, this is a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, fits in there, no problems. And it holds it really steady, it's not going to fall out. So the screen here, which is located just above the smart pack, I'm not really doing it justice. It is super clear, very clear. It doesn't shimmer like you see now. Again, that's just because of my camera settings. So you've got a battery gauge here, 5 different levels for the main battery, and another one for the built-in battery. There's a very tiny built-in battery within the bike, so if you decide to ride it without the smart pack and disconnect the rear hub and just use it as a normal bike, you still get the information here of your speed. But of course, when you do that, you won't have the pedal assist levels without that main pack, because this is just to power the screen, the other little built-in battery within the frame. And our gear selector. So this is to go down the gears, up the gears right here, and there's a button that's built within here, part of our lever, brake lever, which looks really good. Now this is for going up and down and going through those pedal assist levels, 1 to 3. There's also a button exactly the same on the other side, and when you press both of them at the same time and you wait 3 seconds, that is how you lock and unlock the bike. The button on the left also does double as our bell when you tap it. And that's just using the speaker within the smart pack. Now to demonstrate the built-in alarm it does have, and it's locked. Now you can lock it with the application or just pressing both of the buttons for 3 seconds. There's a countdown on the screen that you see, and you hear it then engage the lock for the smart pack, for the rear hub. Now if I just get the kickstand up here and then try to move the bike, you'll see that the rear has locked. And if I move it too much, that triggers the alarm when you move it about. Just from the vibrations, it detects that. And that's a good deterrent for any would-be thieves out there that want to try and steal the bike. Hopefully when they hear that and they realize that they can't pedal the bike away, they'll stop there in their tracks. And of course, you've got with the application the GPS locator, so you can later on find out where the bike is exactly. Now, unlocking it to stop that alarm, if you've got the Bluetooth connection with it, you can hold down for 3 seconds, and it then unlocks, and that's deactivated the alarm for it. Now onto the ride test, which of course is the fun part for me of this, and it's a very nice bike to ride. Now the first thing you notice about it is that it's got a lot of thought put into it. I think the design, the fact that you can lock out that rear hub, that you've got the smart pack that's very easy to remove, you can use it as a power bank, and of course the phone holder, which I'm using right now. You probably can't see the screen. I've got it in the ride track mode. And even from the app, I can then use things like the horn, change the pedal assist levels, and even turn the light on and off, which is rather handy. So it does have a torque sensor, and that means the power delivery is pretty much instantaneous. It's very smooth. And right now I've got it in pedal assist level 1. And of course you've got 1 to 3, or you can put it in 0, and that's off. But if you want completely and truly off, I mean no motor giving you any resistance, then you disengage the motor with the clutch there on the back. You just pull it out, disengage it, remove the battery bank, and you've got yourself a normal bike that weighs 15 kilos, which isn't bad considering it's electric. So really good weights here. So power delivery, nice and smooth, up to 25 kilometers per hour, and riding in bike lanes here along in the city of Denya, very nice. Just need to overtake some scooters and some slower riders here, but very good. Upright riding position too. The seat doesn't have a lot of sponge to it. It's not that soft. It is a little hard. Oh, we've got quite a bit of traffic today. A lot of riders out. We've had some cloudy, overcast weather, so it makes sense. A nice day now, and everyone just wants to get out riding. And the gear changes, Shimano, Dior 9-speed, very good, nice and smooth. And I got easy access to those buttons for the bell and for those pedal assist levels. Really comfortable, smooth ride, and I can't even hear the motor. It is really quiet, very quiet indeed. So using the app on my phone, I can monitor my speed here, and it's giving me assistance up to 25, and I feel it just now that there's no more that it's giving me from the motor, because 25 kilometers per hour is the legal limit here. And if I put it into a high gear and ride as hard as I can easily get this up to 32 kilometers per hour on the flat. It's a good top speed, it's geared really well, and of course I have the low gears. So let's go on to that riding test now, the climb test. Okay, so putting it into pedal assist level 3, going up in the 3rd gear, so not even the lowest gear here. This is super easy, not a problem at all. I would estimate I'm putting about 30-40% effort in, the bike is doing the rest. That's great. And what about if I turned off the pedal assist completely? So I'll put it into 0 now, and I'll make sure I'm in the lowest gear. And this isn't bad compared to some of those really heavy Chinese e-bikes that I've been testing out that weigh like 37 kilos. This feels like nothing. So it is still possible with steep climbs if you run out of battery, or if you disengage the rear hub motor and remove the battery pack altogether. Then our braking performance from 30 kilometers per hour, we've got 160mm hydraulic disc brakes, 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Okay, very easy to lock up that rear because there are only skinny tires here, and not a huge amount of traction under heavy braking load, that is. So that braking performance was average, or even below average a little bit. So one point of criticism is the brakes could be a little better, but you could blame me for locking up the rear there too. But that was an emergency brake test, so not the best distance there in terms of braking. Could be better. However, just general rides around the place, I do find the brakes to be perfectly fine. And our application, so it is called LEMMO. You can get it for iPhone and for Android. And you'll see here your speed if you happen to be connected up. I'm not connected at the moment because the bike's just too far away. Total trip, average speed, total riding time. And this is where you can swipe to lock and unlock the bike itself and the smart pack within the bike. So it'll lock it in place so no one can just go and remove it. And you've got controls there for the lights, phone, the beep, which is the horn, location. I won't show you that for privacy reasons, obviously. And the smart pack info. And right here, your ride tracking. This is the screen that I use when I'm connected up and I'm using my mobile phone in the mobile phone holder. Okay, now range of the bike. With the 530 watt hour battery, which also doubles as a battery bank, they say you can get up to around about 100 kilometers range. And it's pretty much spot on what I'm able to get here. Riding around mostly on the flat and using just the pedal assist level 1 with this, you can normally cover around about 18 to 20 kilometers per battery bar, which is fantastic. So braking performance really good. The frame, the build quality, I love the fact that the seat post is locked into place. So is the front wheel, so no one can just go along and steal that. You can lock the rear hub out with that locking mechanism. You can even disengage the rear hub motor, remove the battery, and just ride it like a normal bike. And the weight of it is pretty good. So this is 18 kilos all up with the battery and the bike. And if it's just the bike, then it's 15 kilos. The things I don't like about it, well, it's very hard to find anything really wrong with this bike. I think it is pretty much perfect as is. I would have liked to have seen a cushioned seat, but they do have one coming out that's going to have a shock in it to absorb shocks. So that's on the way. So that will fix one of my little complaints. The other is the screen's location. This is me nitpicking here. I really wish it was where we have the phone holder, although the phone holder is very handy to have that built into the bike. And maybe a shock would have been nice, but then having a front shock would have pushed the weight up a little bit. So overall, for the price it sells for around 2,200 euros, this is a fantastic bike, the LEMMO 1 Mk2. If you're going to be doing a lot of city commutes, and you also have that option of getting the belt drive one with a Gates belt, so you don't even have to worry about a chain and gears to maintain and oil. So really, this one is a top bike that I've covered, and it's refreshing to see after so many Chinese e-bikes, a model like this that really, I think, covers all bases with the built-in 4G, the application, and the way you can lock this out. It's just perfect for city dwellers and people that want to commute from A to B and know exactly where their bike is.